Now, there are two things that we keep talking about with respect to people and employees. One is employee engagement, and the other is employee retention. And both of them are current issues in India, Asia, and probably across the world. Where do you see EQ playing a role in employee engagement and retention?
Yeah. So this is a big topic that we're talking about with our clients. There is a lot happening economically right now, and there are a lot of organizations, government, NGO, nonprofit, for-profit, everybody, has budgets that are tight. Maybe promotions are on pause. I think a lot of leaders assume that their hands are tied when it comes to retaining top talent. This idea of how do we help engage people while they're here? How do we keep them from leaving? But I think, data tells a very different story. Only 20% of employees cite pay as the primary reason they leave an organization, which means that 80% of them are leaving because of things happening at work. And that is something that leaders influence more than they realize. And when your leaders are trained in EQ, I think it becomes a daily leadership skill set that can help you retain your talent, even when traditional levers like raises and perks are off the table. So here are a couple to think about. Communicating clearly, even when you don't have all the answers. Leaders many times wait too long to communicate because they're waiting to have all the information, to have a very buttoned up email. And the reality is they often wait too long. So high EQ leaders know that silence creates uncertainty, and that uncertainty can many times lead to fear, right? People are using those big brains of theirs to make up stories in the absence of data, and many times the stories are not good. So what you can do instead is just communicate early, clearly, and often, even if the message is, I don't know that much. Here's what I do know. Here's what I can share. Here's what I'm working on. I want to hear from you how you're feeling, right? That is a very transparent conversation, even if you do not have a lot of information to really share. Another one is recognizing effort and impact more often. I think a lot of times when organizations are stressed, when you're not hitting revenue targets, when you're challenged in other ways, we forget to do this. Some Gallup research shows that employees who feel undervalued are more than twice as likely to leave an organization. But conversely, frequent and specific praise is one of the strongest predictors of team engagement and retention. So just put it on your calendar. Mark on your calendar a weekly habit to publicly acknowledge one or two people on your team for a specific contribution. And it can be very small things, quiet wins, behind the scenes collaboration, someone who went the extra mile. If you see an email that came in after hours, someone on the IT team, helping somebody out with the computer issue, things that don't make the company newsletter. I think those are really important. I think the other thing is that people stay when they see how their effort matters, especially when rewards are limited. So in your next one-on-one, you can ask, which part of your work feels most meaningful right now? And then, reflect back how that contribution connects either to a customer need, a team goal, or the overall company mission. Really, helping connect these small everyday actions to the larger why.
Yeah, I think the sensitivity around EQ makes it very, very impactful. And as I said, small things like this, small micro habits go a long way. So those are great suggestions.